Hey gang, welcome back to the channel. It's actually Christmas Eve at the moment and there's no real racing going on. There's lots going on for the pros, but there's not much going on for us. So, it's not a racing video today, it's a video on I guess the thing that we're second most passionate about. That's dogs riding bicycles. We're not just sports cyclists, we also love riding bikes to get places. And we live with 2 dogs, so of course, they come cycling with us.
What, like they're our roommates?
And we think everyone who has a dog should go cycling with them. So today's video is going to be top tips of how to get your dogs riding a bicycle. We've got a friend staying with us. He's currently drinking out of a bike. Tom does actually ride a bike. He rides a bike in a backpack, but his parents think...
I want a cargo bike.
Yeah, his parents are thinking of maybe getting a cargo bike. Get your snout out the Costa coffee cup. So we thought we'd intro him with ours and see how he gets on. This is our setup. It's an Omnium Mini Max. Obviously, it is quite specific having a big cargo bike, but we have lots of dogs. We like to be able to carry dogs and backpacks and extra people. We can fit Honor on the front of here with both of the dogs, so it works really, really nicely. We can also fit 3 dogs in here. We can also fit 60-kilo dogs in here if you really, really want to try. If you've got a smaller dog, then backpacks work, front racks, front baskets. Even the Bromptons sometimes have a little basket which dogs can fit in quite nicely. And then you can also get like specific dog seats. We know Buddy Rider make quite a nice one that attaches to your seat post and it kind of holds the dog above your top tube between you and your handlebars. So they're quite nice and protected and they kind of sit like this. So we live on a boat, so something like this, a cargo bike, like space it takes up to space it can carry is really, really good if you compare it to something like a car. It also means we can get to the door because we can just ride down the towpath. Obviously versus a car, especially in London or big cities, this is undeniably better. It's got about as much space as the Panda.
So our 2 dogs are super used to getting around like this and they love it. I'm convinced they love it. Yeah, okay, I'm biased because I love riding bikes, but I know they love it. To demonstrate this, do you want to give Picasso the magic words?
Picasso, you want a bike ride? A bike ride? Should we bike ride? Come on, up up. Come on, good boy, up up. Up up, up up. Good boy, Carlo.
Carlo's not quite as agile,
Carlo,
so she's not as good, but I promise she's just as enthusiastic.
Carlo. All right. Tom's not so used to it, so what we've done is we've given a really good run around just to get him a bit tired, a bit more kind of susceptible is the wrong word, malleable is the wrong word.
Tired dog is a good dog.
Tired dog is a good dog, so hopefully Tom's being a good dog at the moment, and he also loves other dogs. We have 2 of them here, so obviously use what the dog likes. Picasso was lots of food, Carlo was her brother's doing it, therefore it must be okay. All right? Tom loves food, loves other dogs. We're golden. Whoa! Yeah. Third dog.
So generally we only tie our 2 in if we are on the road, and that even then, like, we are so secure that in the knowledge that they're not going to jump out. It's not really to stop them jumping out, it's so that if anything happens they're still attached to us, because I feel like you can fall off a bike with an animal in and everything's going to be fine, but if your dog is not attached and then panics and runs, then you're going to have a problem. So that's my logic. I will then also always make sure to untie them if I'm then going on a towpath by the river. If, God forbid, something goes wrong and you end up all in the river, which thankfully I've never even come close to, but it's a possibility, I would much rather that they're not attached to the heavy bicycle. What's the other #1 thing we're going to do as soon as Tom's in the cargo bike to give him a nice positive association?
You're a good boy. You're such a good boy. Reinforcement, obviously, and give him lots of treats.
Lots of treats.
Right, so I've got him here. The entire time he's been in here, I've been petting him, making sure he's safe, making sure he's comfortable, and he nearly fell asleep on me just then.
Picasso, good boy. Carlo, good girl. And Tom. And Tom. Okay, and then we're going to start moving.
How cool he looks.
Good dog.
Picasso, we've got Carlo, and Tom.
I think Tom is used to riding a bike, so literally 0 issues.
The one thing we've really noticed is that they may be a bit reserved to start with, and when you're stationary and when you start moving, they're a bit hesitant. But as soon as they start getting like that breeze in their face and they can start sniffing everything and they're just kind of sitting there, they clock on very, very quickly that it's positive. They get to do nothing and they get all of the smells, all of the experiences coming to them. So although they're a bit tetchy to start with, once they're moving, they love it.
All right, should we go for a spin?
Yeah, man, we'll go hit some jumps.
Okay.
Good boy. And then you get to go wherever. You get to go on your nice Christmas Eve ride with your dogs.
We actually do an annual Christmas Day bike ride.
We do. Every year we take the dogs out for a bike ride. Normally we're in London, so we'll ride the dogs down to somewhere nice and quiet, normally quite busy with people, and spend the day with the dogs.
People struggle to be as angry with cyclists when you've got 3 dogs on the front.
Yeah, definitely. It's one thing that we've noticed has potential to be kind of nerve-wracking riding on the roads with your dogs. Drivers are a lot nicer. We've never really had any aggro when they notice there's 2 fluffy dogs on the front of the bike.
Or 3. So tell me, why is our husky type dog wearing a coat?
So our Alaskan Klekai, our miniature husky, born from some of the harshest wildernesses in the world, sub-zero temperatures, gets really cold on the front of the bike, which is a bit embarrassing for her, but we bought her this ghastly jumper, and now
I love it.
Every time she rides a bike around winter, she puts on her little jacket and she stays warm. Otherwise she's shivering on the front.
We have a no standing rule because if they stand, it suggests that they might try and jump. Picasso does love to surf. If we start going downhill, he tends to start
Stands
surfing.
up like this.
Sometimes we give him it because also if we're going really fast, they're not stupid enough to try and jump out then.
They're getting bounced around a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just more comfortable for them to be
Standing up, they can do all 4 of their paws of suspension. Colin. Dog is like liquid, man.
Squirrel, red flag, Carlo, no. Good girl, and you give her a treat.
Good girl. Carlo. Good girl.
So with squirrels and things that might tempt them to jump out, it pays to be 1 step ahead. To make sure you're looking out for squirrels better than they are. And then if you do see one, you can kind of preempt it and be like, good girl, Carlo. And if you start saying good girl before she's seen it, she pays more attention to that. So why have we opted to not strap them in today?
If they do end up jumping out, there's kind of less there. There's less attaching them to the bike. If they do end up jumping out and running off, you're not also going to fall off your bike. They're just going to jump out and that'll be that. We also know that our dogs absolutely love riding the bike. So they're not going to want to jump out because nothing is better than being in the bike.
Tom as well, he's used to the bike. We know already he does ride bikes. So whilst he's definitely a greater risk, he is used to the bike. We're also traveling very, very slowly. So if he does jump out, we'd rather he just jumps out and learns that lesson rather than strapping him in. I think dogs are much better behaved when they feel like they're there by choice.
Yeah.
So as soon as you've attached loads of leads to them, that in itself can create a stress. Obviously, if you know your dog better and you know you've got quite a restless dog who's much more prone to jumping out, then do strap them in. I'd maybe say though to strap them in with more than 1 lead, strap them in from like multiple sides, the more the better, so that if they do then jump, they're not sort of left dangling and hanging, they're actually they're obviously in place. When we strap them in, when we go on the road, that's what we do. What are the biggest challenges, you ask? Well,
Good dogs. Well done.
thinking now that we've had a spin for a little while, I think it's good to break it up for Tom's first ride, and maybe next time we get to an open space, we let them have another run around. If he is holding any stress, then that's his time to release it. Oh.
I don't think he is, because his entire time he's been facing the wrong way. that doesn't yell, I'm worried, I don't know what's going on, to me. We're obviously not going to encourage them to like jump out. We want them to know that when they're in the basket, they stay in the basket, and when they're on the bike, they stay on the bike. Just gonna lift them up and say, good boy. Carlo, good job. Go. Picasso, come on, sir. There you are. King Picasso. The best dog ever.
Kika, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I feel like this wasn't a particularly helpful video because Tom has been an angel.
Tom has been a very, very good subject.
As an experienced cyclist, we've not really had any struggles with him.
We've done this with 2 other dogs, maybe. One dog is another friend's dog we were looking after, and that dog is boisterous, loads of energy, and one we were taking to the vet because it needed emergency surgery.
And that dog was 40 kilos.
So we've had one super energetic dog and one massive dog. The massive dog was kind of scared to start with. As soon as we got going, was absolutely fine, just sat there, looked a bit goofy, but had a great time.
It was literally going in for emergency surgery, and we had no time to sort of do the whole dog bike thing slowly and properly to that dog's own schedule because we were rushing it for surgery. The cargo bike was literally an ambulance. We strapped her in to make sure she couldn't leave, and Theo just kind of hossed it to the vet, and everything was fine and actually worked really well.
So the other dog had loads of energy, it was literally a puppy. So all we did then was prioritise engaging the dog, lots of treats, lots of breaks to let him go off and run around and sniff everything, and just reinforcing the bike is a positive thing.
Especially like when they sit nicely and chill out, and then it's like
full of treats, and they're going to realise that sitting nicely is actually the best thing for them because they get lots of treats.
And then they work out as well that the bike is actually really nice.
Bike ride. Tom's going in first because he's so used to it. We're going to try and stay facing forwards this time. Carlo, are you coming to get up?
Carlo actually hates being picked up, but for the bike ride.
Thanks for noticing.
Obviously, the fact that we've only got 2 wheels on our cargo bike is a bit of a flaw. For extra stability, it would be good to have a trike. But me and Theo are both very good bike riders, I would say. We don't leave it stood like this because if the dogs wriggle, it will fall over.
You can also get a bike from Babbo where the front flips down. It's a trike with the front flips down. So if there is just one of you, or your dog does have mobility issues, you
or
can
they're super heavy and you can't lift them.
Or they're super heavy and you can't lift them. The front's going to flip down into a ramp. They're just going to walk in, and then you're going to close them in.
It's so good, yeah. This is like not optimized for carrying dogs, but it's optimized for our life in general, and we're very good at riding it, so it's okay. I've actually received professional cargo bike training in the past, so I'm pretty confident. I like to say bump whenever we're about to go over a bump. And I think they have actually learned to kind of brace themselves.
I'm surprised,
Just a nice little thing to get them even more used to it and more comfortable.
Picasso is the best dog in the world, but Picasso is also 12 years old. So although he's going to live forever, he's slowing down a little bit, ready for retirement. Carlo is 6'5"?
5?
I forget. Anyway, Carlo's still quite young and still very full of energy. And so when Picasso slows down a little bit out on walks, honour having the bike available so Picasso can just jump in the bike and spend the rest of the walk kind of having a nice little armchair ride, whilst Carlo has to chase the bike, which she loves. She loves doing. She loves running alongside.
She's a husky at the end of the day.
Yeah, she's
right?
a husky. We should
was it
bike jawing? It means that both dogs can go out on one walk. Picasso's needs are slightly different. He's a little bit less walking, and Carlo needs a lot more.
We can all go out on one big adventure, but Picasso doesn't have to use his little legs for quite as long as Carlo does.
Picasso has also been known to ride just
any bike,
just normal bikes.
If he's done running and someone's got a pair of wheels, he is on them.
Doesn't matter how. Normally it's feet on the top of the bottle in the down tube bottle cage, Pause, like sitting on the top tube, pause on the handlebars, away we go.
In times of need, we have done that.
The kid was born to ride. That was us showing you how we ride a bike with our dogs, and we definitely think you should too. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you leave it a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Do you ride with a dog? Would you like to ride with a dog? And send us photos of you riding with your dogs. And follow @DogsByBike. It's a bit dormant at the moment, but it's coming back. It's Honest Photography Project. A bunch of
Cass, that's very rude.
No. It's Honest Photography Project, shooting people who also ride their bikes with dogs. So, if you want some inspiration on how you could ride your bike with your dog, @DogsByBike on Instagram, we'll leave it down below. Go and check it out and send us some photos of you riding. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.